Hello, dear friends. This is Marilyn from TarotClarity.com. Today is the continuation of the comparison between the 4 Vachetta decks that I have, and today's video will focus on the pip cards. Yesterday's video was on the Triumph cards of all 4 decks, and today is strictly the pips. So, without further ado, let me flip the camera and we'll get to it. Alrighty, a brief reminder from left to right what I have here. This one is the Scarabeo Anima Antiqua series, which is essentially the deck in its facsimile state. I'm not sure if these were taken directly from plates or if they were just taken from a black and white print of the original deck. I'm not sure what it's based on. I'm guessing they had the plates, but I don't want to bet money on it. Now, this series, the Lo Scarabeo series, is, I think, more intended for collectors rather than shuffling. I believe it's been stated that these cards will not hold up well to shuffling, persistent shuffling. Now, I have shuffled my decks from the Anima Antiqua series, and they've held up, but I don't use them like I use my other decks. And I just want to mention that they're probably better for collecting than they are for use. Now, the next deck is also from Lo Scarabeo, called Tarot of the Master, and it is in keeping with their other decks made for use. The cardstock is typical Lo Scarabeo cardstock. And in tradition, it has all the different names on the side, all the different languages, which gives it this unfortunate green border. Then we have another publication by Serio, and this one was created by Julian M. White. I understand that this one is very hard to come by, and at this point it's very expensive. When I bought it just a few years ago, I got it for the price of a regular deck of cards, probably no more than $30. It has very nice cardstock. It's actually very nice. A Spanish publication. It came within this box, within a larger box, so it had a kind of elaborate presentation with a very beautiful, fully colorful and illustrated book written in Spanish. But I left them in the drawer. And then the last is the Meneghello deck, which I think, in all fairness, is my favorite of these 4 decks. I pretty much think I have them, well, aside from this one being a facsimile, so I don't kind of count it, but in relation to these 3 cards, I'm pretty sure this one is my favorite. And the cards, are not textured. They're smooth on both sides. They're a little stiff, but they can be riffle shuffled, but I tend not to riffle shuffle my Il Meneghellos. I know people tell me regularly that they riffle shuffle with abandon, but I always felt a little precious about these. But anyway, okay, so here we go. Here is the ace. Now, I looked up, and I think it would be spoken, because the way it's written is like Amo Guerra Porto Pace, or, I think that's how you might say it. And it says, I love war, I bring peace. So that's kind of a strange expression, isn't it? I love war, I bring peace. So we see, and I mentioned it yesterday on the Triumph cards, that the Lo Scarabeo makes an effort to put in smudging or damage to the cards, which we don't see in the facsimile. Now, naturally, since this facsimile has no color, it's either sepia, I guess it would be considered sepia, or just, whatever they call it. So it's up to the modern day publishers to decide what colors they want to use. So the sky's the limit about how many different ways it could possibly look. There are some instances where I like the Los Scarabeo better. There are some cards where I like the Spanish version better, and then there are some cards that I like Il Meneghello better. But overall, if I were to look at the en masse collection of the cards, I would say that I prefer, in totality, the Il Meneghello better. Now, I did not translate all this. However, it looks like it's just telling us that it was created by Giovanni Vachetta, writer or editor or publisher perhaps. Fece, I'm not sure what that means, in Torino. That's, made in, okay, handmade maybe in Torino, or Naibi was kind of like a high-class name or high-class word, elevating the practice of card playing, I think. In the year of, and I believe it's 1893. So we have what looks like a domino, each of the suits, and some of the characters. We have 3 swords. And you see that the Spanish deck apparently eliminated the Roman numerals, at least for the pips. And I guess one could say that the pips are illustrated. Well, they're decorative for sure, but they kind of lean into illustrative, which suggests, that it definitely came before the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which came out in 1909, and this would be 1893. So, 1893. So it's like 15 years before the Rider-Waite-Smith. So although we all know about the Solabusca being fully illustrated pips, I think it's safe to say that this was one of the more modern, decks where the pips were fully illustrated. Maybe not with scenes, but we definitely get a feeling don't you get a sense of fortification with the 4 spades, right? The 4 of swords. Like you have a shield, the shield is fortified, with the reinforcement with the sword. So I get a sense of safety, right? We have the armored hand, we have the shielded head, the helmet. And then we have the number 4, which again, sort of speaks of strength and stability. So although they aren't illustrated with humans, and maybe some of them are, but they do sort of tell a story. You can get, you combine the number and then you combine what it feels like the story is. Huh, what those are. So they look like flowers or some type of foliage, maybe. Not sure. And this might be as good a time as any to remind you, if you appreciate my channel, then I would appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up, if you subscribed. I'm not adverse to you buying me a cup of coffee, and that link is directly below the image. And I even accept super thanks. I'm trying to keep my channel free, but I also would appreciate a little love. So if you do appreciate my channel, this channel has been going on since 2016. This will be my 8th year on the 30th. I'm not sure, is today the 30th? I don't think so, but I'm coming up on my 8th anniversary. And for 8 years, I've given a lot of information out. I know I've taught a lot of people how to read the cards, and I've exposed many of you to new cards and to the new, to historic decks. I think I've enabled quite a few of you. So I'm not opposed to some monetary appreciation if you feel so inclined. I would appreciate it. Or at the very least, to give me a thumbs up and a subscription, because it will help me immensely. I still, after all these years, I still haven't hit 3,000. And I even have to ask myself, this is a quality channel. How do I not have 3,000 followers? How do I not have 10,000 followers, So anyway, now look at this. Now we have like a laurel wreath, which suggests victory, and we have a number 6, right? But look, the original, the facsimile, we see an error, right? We see an error, which was recognized only by the Meneghello, who kept the original, that honored the original idiosyncrasy. So we have the laurel wreath, and then we have all the swords, perhaps, that participated in victory. Could you see it like that? And, if you look at the 6 of Swords from the Rider-Waite-Smith, doesn't it sort of give you the same feeling, right? A sense of victory, and these are all, the 6 of Swords from the Rider-Waite-Smith. Which one? Oh, no, that's the one where they're in the boat. That's a different one. Which one am I thinking of? I know you know which one I'm thinking of. The one where a gentleman's on a horse with his, is that 6 of Batons? I have to check. I can't remember. But at any rate, I think we get a sense of victory here, don't we? Celebration. Seven of Swords. They're hanging. They're available. They're ready. They're ready if you need them. It's like they're hanging and they're not in use at the moment, but they'll spring into action if necessary. Now think of the image with number 7 being progress, moving forward, right? So it sort of continues that thinking of they're available if you need them for the next step. If you hear a lot of racket, that's my husband in the kitchen. I do apologize. He makes a lot of noise. Oh, and yesterday, we went to a Phillies-Yankees game. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh. The Yankees kicked Philadelphia's rear end. Like, I think it was something like 12-4, something like that. It was kind of a slaughter, you know. And my husband is a Yankees fan, and I was born and raised in a Philadelphia suburb, and I lived in Philadelphia myself for 10 years. So Philadelphia is my home team. So of course I have a special spot in my heart for Philadelphia. But being married to an avid Yankees fan, he's kind of won me over. And I have seen more Yankee games than I've ever seen Philadelphia games because my husband never misses a game. We go to about 2 Yankee games a year, and he watches every single game on television, unless it's blacked out, which yesterday's game would have been blacked out, which is why we had to go to the game in order for him to see it. So I guess I've become a Yankees fan. But we went with my daughter and son-in-law, and who are Phillies fans. And my sister works for the Phillies, so she works for the Philadelphia game, the Enterprise, of all the games. She works for the Eagles, she works for the Phillies, if there's a game, she's there, doing the ushering and all that kind of stuff. So and of course she's a Phillies fan. So she brought me a Phillies hat. I was wearing a New York Yankees jersey, and she gave me a Phillies hat, which I had to wear. So I wore the Phillies hat and the Yankees shirt. So I don't know what people made of me, but I clap for everybody. Ultimately, it's a freaking baseball game. I don't really care who wins and who loses. But if they weren't playing the Phillies, I definitely would have been voting for the Yankees. And if we had just gone to a Phillies game and they were playing somebody other than the Yankees, I would have, of course, been rooting for the Phillies. But between the Phillies and the Yankees, I was a little more partial to rooting for the Yankees because I'm more invested now in the Yankees. Now, see, we have 9 of Swords, right? And, they got this heart. These swords, poking at the heart here. So doesn't that kind of suggest heartache or loss or defeat or, not so out of keeping with what the message of the 9 of Swords is of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. But then they wrap it up real nice, like this is your fate and you're going to like it. No matter how you... And I think that could be part of the interpretation. It's like, grin and bear it, grin and bear it. This is what's going to happen, or this is the outcome. And you're just going to have to put a smile on it and dress it up. And the 10 of Swords. Now again, like the 7, these look like they're mounted on the wall, but they don't look like they're ready to be taken down because they're intertwined and a little more complicated to get them off the wall. So in this message, it kind of seems like, well, they're there, but it's more of a permanent display, not to be ready to tear them off the wall to use, right? And being in combination with number 10, the suggestion being it's over. 10 is so done, you put a fork in it. So these are mounted on a wall more for permanent display than for ease of use. And that's my take on this. I could be wrong, and you might disagree, and that is fine. It's none of my business. I'm just suggesting how I feel about the cards as I see them. Okay. So perhaps part of a ceremony in the beginning of a competition or a game or something like that. Or, you know, serving an individual who's not in view, serving the knight perhaps. As the knight drives by, you know, trots by and grabs the sword from his valet. Every picture tells a story. And now he has his sword. And look how he's holding it, by the edge, not by the hilt, right? Ouch. So that could suggest a person who's, I don't know if you want to say reckless, but a person who's dangerous or not afraid of getting hurt. And here we have the Queen of Swords. Oh, is this a beheaded individual? And is that the head? What? I've never noticed that before. Whoa. Dang, let's see what we have here. Darn. I wonder. Yes, that's what that looks like. That, oh my gosh. I never noticed that before. Isn't that crazy? To the victor goes the spoils, including your head. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's pretty subtle. That's subtle treachery right there. Beware of this woman. That's subtle treachery. Holy Toledo. Wow. See, you never know what you're going to see. You know, if you hang out with me long enough and you watch my videos from start to finish, you don't know what you're going to learn or what insights you may get, because I've been at this for so long and I still learn that's the whole point of these videos, is I still learn. And it's all about making connections and making observation and understanding and associating number with suit. For me, that's how it works. Number with suit and whatever images make sense. So here we have the king. Again, he's holding it by the blade. Okay. The suit of cups, the ace. We have a little monkey. I think it was very fashionable in some societies to have pet monkeys. This youngster's eyes are closed. Okay. Or at least downward cast. Interesting. Il Meneghello's legs are different colors. Huh. I wonder what's up with that. Whereas all the others, including the facsimile, seem more like the flesh tone of the individual. And the monkey seems to be eating some kind of apple or some type of fruit. Okay, another card announcing the creator. It created in Torino in the year 1893. A very welcoming image of two urns. I don't know what would have been in them, but surrounded by overhanging fruit. A youngster delivering 3 vessels, with a reference to a musical winged one. So we see that both the Scarabeo and the Il Meneghello decided to alternate the floor pattern, whereas in the other two, in the facsimile, it doesn't appear that way, and neither does it appear that way in the Spanish. Now, this presentation of 4 is a little more dignified than the haphazard presentation by the youngster in Cupid, or whoever that was in the previous card. Okay, 5 cups. When I think of 5, I frequently think of instability. However, these look very secured. I don't get a sense of instability here. There's a flame in each of the cups, which kind of suggests, you know, if a vessel holds water and they're on fire, that's kind of an interesting, different look at the vessel. Maybe things aren't as they seem, which, in keeping with a 5, might suggest a challenge. 6 cups, and we see here in the facsimile there is no error in the 6. So we have like a weasel, some type of winged owl. Is that an owl perhaps? Almost looks like a candy tray, a nice arrangement of treats. And here with the 7 of cups, the cups have turned into a type of fountain. So there's no fire, as was evidenced in the other odd number of 5. Right, we have an overflow of liquid that hasn't quite started to come down below to the last. And what happens with this one? When this one overflows, where does it go? And I think of 8 as stable, right? A number of stability, but those don't look very secure the way they're balanced. That looks rather precarious, doesn't it? So it kind of puts the stability of 8 in question in this deck. I mean, they're stable. I mean, it's there, but don't sneeze. And the lovely floral. Here is our wish fulfillment card. And these cups are so stable on display, they're starting to collect dust, right? 10 is the number of being done. There's probably slim to no chance that these cups will be chosen for drinking. Maybe there's another cupboard. Maybe these are for display only. And then we have a more prominent one in front. And the people of the Court of Cups. The Knight. Again with the smudging. Interesting heart shape of the romantic knight, right? Kind of reminiscent of a heart here. And this queen, unlike the Queen of Swords, she seems a bit more hospitable with her hearth, preparing food. She's got a knife at hand, however, but she does seem a bit more friendly than the queen we encountered with the Queen of Swords. Oh, we even have a barrel of wine, perhaps. And the King of Cups almost has a Bacchus look to him, doesn't he? Got a bit of a bacchanal feel. Hey, come on over. Come over my house. We'll entertain you. We'll have a good time. His crown is even tilted to one side. Okay, moving now. We're already at 33 minutes. Should I quit now or should I continue? Perhaps I will do a second video continuing with the suit of batons and coins. I guess 33 minutes is long enough. Okay, see you in the next video. Until next time, peace.